Jam Butty Boy is the Reluctant Fell Runner. Season 2, Episode 3. A mixtape for Baby Sky. JB walked through the scout door.
"At last," said Yorkshire. "We were wondering where you had got to. After all, it was you who called this extraordinary meeting of the Lungsdale Fell Running Association. I've missed my bridge meeting for this. What's it all about, Jam Butty Boy?"
"Yeah, most extraordinary," said Three Coats. "I'm missing a repeat of Morse for this. It better be good."
"Yeah, what is it?"
said Camo. "All right, steady on, everybody. Well, you know Melanie is going to be off to America again soon, taking Baby Sky with her, and we're all kind of her guardians like now," said JB.
"Oh yeah, Baby Sky,"
said Camo fondly.
"She's got her mother's good looks, she has. She's gonna break some hearts when she's older, that one."
"I think it will break your heart when she goes back, you big old softy,"
said Yorkshire, laughing at Camo.
"I don't mind saying I'm going to miss her,"
said Camo.
"Reminds me of my girls when they were first born."
"We'll all miss her, my friend,"
said Yorkshire.
"Anyway, back to you, JB. What's this idea?"
"Well, I was thinking we won't be there, so I thought—"
"Well, come on, spit it out then, man,"
said Yorkshire. "All right. Well, what do you think about recording some nursery rhymes and maybe a couple of bedtime stories for her? That way they could put it on at night for her to send her to sleep, and it will be like we're all there for her. What do you think?"
"Is that it?"
scoffed Three Coats.
"Ha! What a daft idea. You got us all here for that?"
"I think that's a splendid idea,"
said Camo.
"Really?"
said Three Coats.
"Oh, yes, that's just the ticket,"
said Yorkshire.
"I used to love it when Nursey read me nursery rhymes and bedtime stories. Oh, dear, dear Nursey, I'll never forget. Happy days."
Yorkshire sighed and looked up and off into the distance of his memories.
"Nursey?"
said Camo.
"That's a new one. I wouldn't mind a night nurse myself to tuck me into bed and whisper me sweet nothings."
"I'll not have a bad word said against Nursey,"
said Yorkshire defensively.
"Been in our family for 4 generations she was before she sadly died. When she finally went to her heavenly rest, we were all so upset. Father almost shed a tear. It was almost as shattering for us as when poor Frederick died."
"Frederick? Who's Frederick?"
said Camo.
Our King Charles Spaniel,"
said Yorkshire.
"King Charles Spaniel?"
said Camo.
"Crikey."
"You two really think it's a good idea?"
said Three Coats, bemused.
"I think it's absolutely brilliant,"
said Camo.
"Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rainfall and washed the spider out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again." That's my favourite. That's a lesson on not giving up, that is,"
said Camo.
"Oh, no, no, no,"
said Yorkshire.
"Not all that modern rubbish. We want some proper traditional nursery rhymes, some good old medieval ones, with good pedigree and history to them. I think it's best if I run the playlist for this."
"Here he goes again,"
said Camo.
"If you do that, fine. But we've got to have 3 little pigs. I'll huff and I'll puff."
OK, you can have 3 little pigs,"
said Yorkshire.
And chicken licking, said Three Quarts. That was my favourite.
You've changed your tune, said JB.
Said Three Quarts. I can change my mind if I want to. I love chicken licking.
Of course you can, said JB. Right, I've brought a couple of big, thick old nursery rhyme books with me. Which ones are we choosing?
Well, pass it over here then,
said Yorkshire.
Great idea, JB. But I think I'm the expert on this one. Pass it here, let's have a look. Ooh, Pussy's in the well. Ding dong bell, Pussy's in the well. Who put her in? Little Johnny Green. Who pulled her out? Little Tommy Stout. That's the oldest recorded nursery rhyme. It was written down to music by John Lant, the organist of Winchester Cathedral in 1580,
said Yorkshire.
Crikey! You do know your stuff. It's a bit of a rough topic though, isn't it?
said Camor.
Putting a cat in a well.
And taking it out again,
said Yorkshire.
It's a rescue story.
A bit borderline, that one, said JB.
Nonsense,
said Yorkshire.
We can't get rid of that one. Most of the rest are more...
He was searching for the right word. Gruesome, said JB.
Medieval,
said Yorkshire.
I was going to say medieval. They were stout and sturdy folk back in the day.
What's next? said JB.
Ooh, Bar Bar Black Sheep, that's a good one,
said Yorkshire.
Nursie used to do it in like a bit of a medieval voice. I might give it a try, actually.
Go on then, this should be interesting.
Bar Bar Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master and 1 for the dame, and 1 for the little boy who cries down the lane.
That's your medieval singing voice, said JB.
I'm a little bit rusty.
That was all right,
said Camor. I mean, that was a nice one. Surely that's all innocent, isn't it, Yorkie?
Well, the story is that it's based on Edward I, Edward Longshanks, Hammer of the Scots. When he returned from the Crusades in 1272, he needed money. In medieval England, the wool trade was the biggest business. Landowners and the church had large flocks, and wealth was measured in how many sheep you had. Edward decided to raise taxes on wool, and the rhyme is based on that.
Bloody king's always doing taxes,
said Camor.
How's it based on that anyway?
Well, the 3 bags full as the tax was split into thirds. 1 for the master is 1 bag of wool for the king, 1 for the dame is 1 bag of wool for the church or the monastery, and 1 for the little boy who cries down the lane is only 1/3 for the poor shepherd who had to look after all the sheep,
said Yorkshire.
What's that about black sheep?
said Three Quarts.
That's what Grandad used to call me, black sheep of the family.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Thank you, Three Quarts,
said Yorkshire.
Well, they did not like black sheep because the wool could not be dyed, so it was worth a lot less than the white wool was.
Oh, right. So why was he calling me black sheep then?
Well, I don't know, said JB.
Oh, this one's a really good one, short and sweet.
What's that? said JB.
Georgie Porgy. Who wants to have a go at that one? Me,
said Three Quarts. Crikey, he has changed his tune, said JB.
I'll do it. Go on then,
said Yorkshire.
Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made 'em cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. I love that one,
said Three Quarts. You did that pretty good, said JB.
Go on then, clever clogs,
said Camor.
What's the story about that one? I bet there even isn't one. It's just a nursery rhyme.
I'm afraid you're wrong there, Camo. Georgie Porgy is thought to be the Prince Regent, who later became George the Fourth. George was a man to give rein to his tastes and desires and take advantage of his position as prince to do so. He was well known for his foppish behaviour. One of his penchants was food, hence Georgie Porgy pudding and pie. He was a tad on the tubby side, weighing about 17.5 stone, and had a 50-inch waist. Another penchant was for the ladies. He earned a reputation for some lusty romps with the fairer sex, having several mistresses at the same time, and leaving a string of illegitimate children. When he was 23, he fell in love with the beautiful Marie Anne Fitzherbert. He was so besotted with her that he persuaded her to go through with a secret marriage. Well, the marriage would never have been allowed, as Maria was both a commoner and a Roman Catholic. He later went on to officially marry Catherine of Brunswick, a politically more appropriate choice, but he despised her so much that he even had her banned from his coronation. So, dear old George made both the women in his life miserable. Hence the line, he kissed the girls and made 'em cry. He wasn't known for his own personal courage, but he did enjoy watching other people fight and was a great fan of bare-knuckle boxing. Well, the story goes, during one of the illegal prize fights, a boxer was knocked to the floor and died of his injuries. Frightened of being implicated in it, the prince made a quick getaway from the scene. So, hence the line, when the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away.
Well, I never,
said Camo.
Yes, indeed. Many is the poor George who had that sung to them during playground times. Bit of a burden. Oh, here's a family favourite. Dr. Foster.
Dr. Foster? I've never heard of that,
said Camo.
Really?
said Yorkshire.
No, what's that one?
Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again.
Say what?
Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again.
Is that about somebody?
Yeah, it's another one on King Edward I again.
Another one?
Well, Edward was recognised as a clever and learned man, hence the title Dr. Foster. The origins of the Foster name are lost in the mists of time. But Edward was visiting Gloucester due to the town's strategic position at a major crossing of the River Severn into Wales, back when the Welsh were, a bit rebellious and all that.
They can be a bit mischievous now.
Yes, I can, can't I? Anyway,
Yorkshire.
Yes, JB?
Could it just be that Foster rhymes with Gloucester and it hides that it's about the king so you can get away with it and not be done for it?
You know you could be onto something there,
said Yorkshire.
Anyway, back to Dr. Foster. So, the story goes, King Edward went to ride his horse through what he mistook for a shallow puddle, only to end up stuck in mud and water up to his waist and unable to get out. Both him and his horse had to be dragged out, and he was said to be so furious, and no doubt embarrassed, he vowed never to visit Gloucester again.
Oh dear, said JB.
Can we have some more familiar ones?
OK, let's have a look. I'll have a little flick through. What about Jack and Jill? Have you heard of that one?
Everyone's heard of Jack and Jill. Let me have a go.
OK then, Camo. Over to you.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Crikey, it's a bit hard to say after, to rhyme with water, innit?
Here, let me have a go,
said Three Coats.
Go on then, see if you can do it any better.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Oh, it is a bit hard to say after rhyming with water, isn't it? You don't really go together at all.
You did a good effort there, you two, said JB.
Come on then, clever clogs,
said Camo.
What's that one all about then?
It's believed to be about Charles I,
started Yorkshire.
Here we go, raising taxes again, no doubt,
said Camo.
What is it this time? Sheep again?
Yes, quite. You're quite right. You're quite right there, Camo, but not sheep,
said Yorkshire.
No, this time it was alcohol sales, which were generally measured in units known as Jacks and Jills.
Jack and Jill,
said JB. Who knew?
Ooh, but that wouldn't be popular,
said Camo, sucking in the breath.
You can't be messing with people's beer.
No, indeed,
said Yorkshire.
After that failed, he instead reduced the size of the Jack, about 1/8 of a pint, and in turn the Jill, which was twice the size of a Jack, so the Jill's increased price came tumbling after.
Corn, I thought that was a modern trick, said JB. You know, when instead of putting the price up of a chocolate bar, they keep the price the same but reduce its size.
No, there's nothing new in life, is there?
said Camo.
Not really,
said Yorkshire.
They say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
It nursery rhymes, said JB.
Yes, indeed,
said Yorkshire.
Come on, what's next? Oh, I love this.
Humpty Dumpty?
Humpty Dumpty, get in,
said Camo.
I can't wait to find what this one's about.
Go on then, JB. You do this one. You've not done one yet.
OK, I'll give it a go. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Well, not bad. Not bad, I suppose. Good effort, JB. Very, very clear voice, I suppose.
Oh, it's great, that one, isn't it? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Go on, Yorkie, tell us what that one's about. Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, I love that one,
said Three Coats.
So, who's Humpty Dumpty then? Not Edward the First again.
No, Humpty Dumpty was not even a person at all,
said Yorkshire mysteriously.
Get away,
said Camo.
No,
said Three Coats, preparing to have his childhood illusions shattered.
No, it comes from the English Civil War that plagued the country between 1642 and 1651. Humpty Dumpty was a giant siege cannon used by the royalist forces, hence the king's men, during the siege of Colchester in 1648. The royalists, the king's men, had hauled Humpty Dumpty to the top of the church tower of St. Mary at the Walls, and for 11 weeks Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and blasted away at the attacking parliamentarians, you know, the Roundhead troops defending the town. Humpty's great fall came when the church tower was eventually blown up by the Roundheads, and he couldn't be put back together again, as he'd fallen into and was buried deep in the marshland below the tower. Without the mighty Humpty Dumpty to defend them, the king's men, led by Sir Charles Lucas and Sir George Lisley, They were finally overrun by parliamentary soldiers of Thomas Fairfax.
Well, I never, said Three Coats. That's even better than it being a person. I would have loved to have known that as a kid. You're really good at this, Yorkie. What's next then?
Ew, this is a very medieval one. I think you all know the history of this.
Go on then. What is it?
said Camo.
Ring-a-ring-a-roses.
Oh yeah, we all know that.
Oh yeah, we all know what that's about.
A ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down.
Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down. The girls used to sing that at school, and then when they said we all fall down, they all used to flop on the floor. It always made me laugh every time, knowing what it was about.
Yeah, we all know that one,
said Three Coats.
No doubt,
said Yorkshire.
Ring-a-ring-a-roses is probably the most infamous nursery rhyme of all. It refers to the 1665 Great Plague of London. The rose is the red rash that covered the unfortunate afflicted, and then they carried a pocketful of posies to try to cover the rotten smell that came off their putrefying flesh.
Ugh,
said Three Coats.
The plague of 1665 killed nearly 15% of the country's population. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down indeed, is rather a self-explanatory, eh?
said Yorkshire.
Fancy making a happy nursery rhyme about that,
said Camo.
Still, 15% isn't so bad. The Black Death, that killed 50% of people.
Flippin' heck. Steady on, Camo, said JB. English sense of humour, all right.
Ha ha,
laughed Camo.
Yeah, that's typical British squaddy humour too. I love that. Making a joke of it. Well done.
It's probably best that we move on from that one. What's next, Yorkshire?
Ew, Rockabye Baby. No doubt you'll think that this is a nice gentle one.
Come on then, surprise us,
said Camo.
Rockabye baby on the treetops, when the wind blows the cradle will rock, when the bough breaks the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all.
Surely that's a nice gentle one, but not in your medieval voice then, Yorkshire.
I can give it a go if you want, JB.
Go on then.
Rock-a-bye baby on the treetops, when the wind blows the cradle will rock, when the bough breaks the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all.
Well, not a bad effort, Yorkshire.
Why, thank you, JB.
Go on then, tell us what that one's about.
Well, this was supposedly written in a British pub during the Glorious Revolution of 1688. The majority of the Protestant-supporting British public wanted rid of the Catholic-supporting James II and his newborn heir. They really didn't want those Catholics running the joint. When the Wind Blows refers to the revolution led by William of Orange, William III. The cradle is the reign of James II and the baby his heir. So, when the wind blows, the revolution, the bough will break and down will come baby, cradle and all. Down will come the king and his heir, all to be replaced by the Protestant Mary and William.
Wow, these nursery rhymes are amazing,
said Camo.
What's next, Yorkshire?
Oh, here's a fun little ditty. Here we go round the mulberry bush.
Me please on this one.
Okay, give it a try, give it a whirl, Three Coats.
Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. This is the way we wash our clothes, wash our clothes, wash our clothes. This is the way we wash our clothes on a cold and frosty morning.
Oh, not bad, not bad. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. This is the way we wash our clothes, wash our clothes, wash our clothes. This is the way we wash our clothes on a cold and frosty morning. Go on then, Yorkshire, what's that about? Which king and what taxes are going on now?
Well, Camo, my dear friend, not a king at all. According to the story, during the 1600s, the female prisoners of Wakefield Prison used to exercise every morning by walking round and round the mulberry tree at the centre of the prison yard, and then no doubt went on to wash their clothes on a cold and frosty morning, eh?
Oh my God, I bet that prison was tough in the 1600s. Oh my, that doesn't bear thinking about that.
Yeah, that is a tough one, that. It gets to you, that one.
God, can you imagine what they would have locked him up for in the 1600s? Crikey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, let's move on to a nice little jolly one. Little Miss Muffet.
Well, I know that one. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. What's that one about? Kings, queens?
Yeah, what's that one about?
Said Camo.
Well, yeah, this is a bit of a strange one. Dr. Thomas Muffet, who died in 1604, is believed to have crushed up spiders and fed them to his patients, including his stepdaughter, Patience, the little Miss Muffet of the story, to cure all their ailments.
Don't like spiders,
said Yorkshire.
If I find one in the bath, I get the wife to put it out. She doesn't seem to mind them.
No, said JB. I'll bet not.
I wonder what spiders taste like,
said Three Coats.
I don't,
said JB.
Ha ha! Come on, what's next? Let's move on from them horrible spiders,
said Camo.
Ew, I think you'll like this one. London Bridge is falling down.
Oh, brilliant,
said Camo.
Can I do this one?
Said Three Coats.
OK, take it away, Three Coats.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Build it up with iron bars, iron bars, iron bars. Build it up with iron bars, my fair lady. Iron bars will bend and break, bend and break, bend and break. Iron bars will bend and break, my fair lady. Build it up with gold and silver, gold and silver, gold and silver. Build it up with gold and silver, my fair lady. Gold and silver we've not got, we've not got, we've not got. Gold and silver we've not got, my fair lady. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Well done, Three Coats. I take my hat off to you on that one.
Oh, I used to love playing that at school,
said Camo.
The girls would make an arch, and you had to go under and round as they sang, and when they got to falling down, they would drop their hands and try and catch you. Oh, and if you were lucky, they'd give you a kiss. If you were caught, you had to join in and make the arch longer.
Oh, I remember that, said JB. I love that, trying to race through and be last to get caught.
Not get caught by the girls,
said Camo.
I wanted to get caught, me. I used to slow right down, particularly if it was Deborah Drinkwater doing the catching. Oh, Deborah Drinkwater. I wonder what she's doing now. 'Course she was a looker, she was. All the way through school I fancied Deborah Drinkwater. Come on then, tell us what it's all about.
London Bridge is falling down probably dates back to the attack of the Viking Olaf II of Norway, sometime in the early 1000s.
Crikey, it goes back that far. Who's my fair lady?
Lost in the mists of time, Camo. Lost in the mists of time.
Oh, just like Debbie Drinkwater, said Camo.
Ooh, this is my favourite, and you won't know what this is about. Goosey Goosey Gander.
Goosey Goosey Gander? I think I remember this one.
Go on then, if it's your favourite. You do it, Yorkshire, said JB.
Thank you. Goosey Goosey Gander. Goosey Goosey Gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who wouldn't say his prayers, so I took him by his left leg and threw him down the stairs. Oh, it's such a good one, said Yorkshire. How silly of me to say that. What I mean is, it's really well constructed and...
Well, come on then, said Camo. Spit it out. What's it all about?
Well, every line means something, said Yorkshire. It's about the persecution of the Catholics, and particularly Catholic priests. In Catholics sympathising big houses, they used to build what were called priest holes. Secret hidden chambers where a visiting Catholic priest could run and hide if the Protestant forces came a-knocking. The nursery rhyme is supposed to be you as a priest hunter visiting one of these houses. Goosey Goosey Gander is the scared priest hiding and having goosebumps, scared of being found.
No way,
said JB. I know, amazing, right? Said Yorkshire. Whither shall I wander, upstairs and downstairs, is you searching the house. Amazing! The secret hiding place was often put in unexpected places. So, the lady's chamber, where a man was not supposed to be. That's the next line. There I met an old man, is you finding the old Catholic priest.
That's amazing,
said Camo.
And he wouldn't say his Protestant prayers,
said Camo.
Yes, exactly, said Yorkshire. So you took him by the left leg and you threw him down the stairs.
No, I didn't, said Camo. I'm Catholic.
In the nursery rhyme, you silly sausage, said Yorkshire.
Oh, yeah. I was just so involved in it, said Camo. Come on then. What's next?
Oh, good. This'll be a firm favourite of everyone. The Grand Old Duke of York. Oh, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. Ho, ho, ho!
That's not fair. We never got to decide on who was going to do that one.
Well, you have a go at it then, Camo.
I will. Oh, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down.
Camo had done the hand actions up and down.
That's not fair. I want to go.
Well, have a go then, Three Coats, said JB.
Oh, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. Oh, I love the Grand Old Duke of York, I do. What's that one then about Yorkshire? Who's the Grand Old Duke?
Yes, I think we all enjoyed that one. Well, the eponymous Duke of the title has been argued to be a number of different bearers of that particular name. But in particular, Prince Frederick, Duke of York and Albany, 1763 to 1827, and its lyrics have become proverbial for futile action, marching up and down for no apparent reason.
When they were up, and when they were down, said Camo. I know that pointless marching from my army days.
Quite,
said Yorkshire.
Public school was no better.
What's next then, Yorkshire? I think we're all enjoying this.
Yeah, I have to admit, it's been quite a good idea, JB, after all,
said Three Coats.
Oh, you won't know what this is about. Oh, dear Lord, wait until you hear this one.
Which one is it?
This can I do this one in my medieval voice?
Well, you haven't told us which one it is yet, Yorkie.
Oh, yes, of course. Three Blind Mice.
Take it away then if you must, 'cause I like that one too,
said Camo.
Three blind mice, see how they run, they all run after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice?
Well, you gave that one some welly there, Yorkshire. Well done.
Why, thank you, JB.
Can I have a go too?
Go on then, Three Coats.
Hoo-hoo. Three blind mice, see how they run, They all run after the farmer's wife who cut off the tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice? Oh, I love three blind mice.
Go on then, Yorkshire. Tell us what that one's about.
Well, you'll never believe it.
It's them Protestants and Catholics again, isn't it?
Oh, you do now,
said Yorkshire.
Yeah, the three blind mice. This time it's the Protestants getting it in the neck during Bloody Mary's reign. The three blind mice in question are believed to be a group of Protestant bishops, Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Radley, and the Archbishop of Canterbury himself, Thomas Cranmer, who unsuccessfully conspired to overthrow the Queen and were burned at the stake for their troubles. The blindness in question refers to their supposed heresy of their religious beliefs.
What's next, Yorkshire?
Little Jack Horner.
I've not done one for a bit. I'll do this one.
Here's the book, Camo.
Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." That can't be about anything, surely, said Camo.
Well, actually, Camo, that's where you're wrong. Little Jack Horner is actually Thomas Horner, a steward to the Abbot of Glastonbury. The Abbot sent Horner to London with a Christmas pie for King Henry VIII, and the deeds to 12 manor houses were hidden in the pie. The plum in the pie in the nursery rhyme.
Well, what do you know? There's another new thing for me to learn.
Oh, this is quite a good one, but I think you'll already know this one. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row.
Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Woo-hoo!
What's that one about then, Yorkshire? It's not Queen Mary, is it, by any chance?
Good guess, Camo, good guess. Mary has been identified as the Queen Mary I of England, otherwise known as Bloody Mary, 1516 to 1558. With the "how does your garden grow" refers to her lack of heirs. Oh, she's a bit cruel, isn't it? It's also said to be a punning reference to her chief minister, Stephen Gardier. Stephen Gardier? Gardier?
Could be, but that sounds a bit of a stretch to me.
It could be. Quite contrary is said to be a reference to her unsuccessful attempt to reverse ecclesiastical changes effected by her father Henry VIII and her brother Edward VI.
Ecclesiastical changes? What's that?
You know, ecclesiastical, religious, swapping back from Protestant to Catholic again.
Oh, quite contrary indeed. Catholic, Protestant, Catholic. Come on, you lot, make your mind up.
And silver bells and cockle shells are supposed to be medieval torture devices that they used on people to make them confess.
Oh dear. And pretty maids all in a row? Who's that?
Well, they can't quite figure that out. It could be a reference to Catholic nuns or pretty maids all in a row. It could be all the religious martyrs lined up and burnt at the stake.
Oh, Bloody Mary indeed.
Exactly.
Sing a song of sixpence. I know I've been hogging the show a little bit, everyone, but can I try this in my medieval singing voice?
Go on then, said JB.
Oh, good.
Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pint was opened, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king?
Oh dear.
The king was in his counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlour, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes, when down came a blackbird and pecked off her nose.
I did my best, but I do love that one. That one is supposedly about Henry VIII. The blackbirds have been seen and as an allusion to monks during the period of the dissolution of the monasteries by Henry VIII, with Catherine of Aragon representing the Queen and Anne Boleyn the maid. So pecking off her nose could be chopping off her head. The rye and the birds have been seen to represent a tribute to Henry VIII. And of course, he was in the counting house counting out his money.
It's all taxes with these kings, isn't it?
Well, he didn't bother taxing then, he just nicked it.
I think you're right, said Camo.
This is quite a nice one, but I think somebody else will have to give it a go while I rest my voice for a few minutes. Oranges and lemons.
Oh, I love this one, said Camo. Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's. I owe you 5 farthings, say the bells of St. Martin's. When will you pay me, say the bells of Old Bailey. When I grow rich, say the bells of Shoreditch. When will that be, say the bells of Stepney. I'm sure I don't know, say the great bells of Bow. Here comes a candle to light you to bed, and here comes a chopper to chop off your head.
Oh, good gosh, we're going to be frightened the life out of poor baby Sky with this lot.
I'm sure you'll remember to edit it, Jam Butty Boy, before we hand it over.
So, what's this about then, and how come it ends up with that last line?
Well, it's a bit difficult to kind of get the history of this one. It could just be a way of an illiterate public remembering the name of all the public landmarks of where all the churches were, because they were important back in the day, you know, in the mid-1650s.
Suppose it could be, said JB.
But people also think it's to do with, the bells ringing when there's public executions. That's why the last line. As of course, it was a form of public entertainment as well.
Ye gads. Times were tough then, weren't they? Having your head chopped off for public entertainment.
Well, it was supposed to be, criminals, not just anybody.
Can we do Aching Drum?
There's not really a good story about that one, Three Coats.
Oh, I like Aching Drum.
Well, as it's for Baby Sky, take it away, Three Coats. Over to you.
There was a man lived in the moon, lived in the moon, lived in the moon. There was a man lived in the room, and his name was Aching Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. And he played upon a ladle, and his name was Aching Drum. And his hat was made of good cream cheese, good cream cheese, good cream cheese. And his hat was made of good cream cheese, and his name was Aching Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. And he played upon a ladle, and his name was Aching Drum. And his coat was made of good roast beef, good roast beef, good roast beef. And his coat was made of good roast beef, and his name was Aching Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. And he played upon a ladle, and his name was Aching Drum. And his buttons were made of penny loaves, penny loaves, penny loaves. And his buttons were made of penny loaves, and his name was Aching Drum. And he played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. And he played upon a ladle, and his name was Aching Drum. His waistcoat was made of crusts of pies, crusts of pies, crusts of pies. His waistcoat was made of crusts of pies, and his name was Aching Drum. Last one, everybody. He played upon a ladle, a ladle, a ladle. And he played upon a ladle, and his name was Aching Drum. Oh, I love Aching Drum. What's the story of that then?
Well, it's a story of apparently a house was made for a rich man, and he must have liked his food because they carved a ladle in one of the stones above the house.
Is that all? No kings, no taxes, no chopping off heads? No dying of Black Death or anything?
No. And I think we've pretty much come to the end.
Hang on, don't put it away just yet.
Why not, JB? Have you got any more?
Well, of course, Melanie is half French, isn't she? And she'll probably want to keep some of that. Baby Sky'll be a quarter French, perhaps.
Ooh, Alouette.
Exactly, said Camo. Oh, I've got to do that one. Alouette, gentle Alouette, Alouette, je te plumerai, la tête, je te plumerai la tête, et la tête, et la tête, et la tête, et la tête. Alouette, gentle Alouette, Alouette, je te plumerai. Oh, that's brilliant, that. Don't forget Frère Jacques.
Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, sonnez le matin,
ding dong ding, ding dong ding. Well, I have to hand it to you, Yorkie. You certainly know your onions on this one.
Why, thank you kindly, JB,
said Yorkshire.
Yeah, you may well have your martial arts, but I'll always have my nursery rhymes.
Yeah, you certainly will, said JB. Do you not think this has all been a bit gory and scary for a modern kid these days? Said Camo. We don't want to frighten baby Sky, and she has to spend all her childhood sleeping with a light on, and Mum and Dad checking under the bed for monsters now, do we?
Poppycock,
said Yorkshire.
It's our medieval history, and I'm sure JB will not forget to edit it.
Oh, don't forget we've got 3 little pigs. I'm going to huff and puff and blow that house down, I'm telling you.
And don't forget chicken licking,
said Three Coats. We won't forget everybody. Right, where's those storybooks then? Well-loved folk tales for Baby Sky. Read by Jam Butty. and the gang.
"Oh, here we are, the three little pigs, my favourite,"
said Camor.
"I'm gonna huff and puff."
The three little pigs. The three little pigs. Once upon a time there was a mother pig who had three little pigs. The three little pigs grew so big that their mother said to them,
"You are too big to live here any longer. You must go and build houses for yourselves, but take care that the wolf does not catch you."
The three little pigs set off.
We will take care that the wolf does not catch us, Mummy,"
they said. Soon they met a man who was carrying some straw.
"Please will you give me some straw?"
asked the first little pig.
I want to build a house for myself."
"Yes,"
said the man, and he gave the first little pig some straw. Then the first little pig built himself a house of straw. He was very pleased with his house. He said,
"Now the wolf won't catch me and eat me."
"I shall build a stronger house than yours,"
said the second little pig.
"And I shall build a stronger house than yours too,"
said the third little pig. The second little pig and the third little pig went on along the road. Soon they met a man who was carrying some sticks.
"Please will you give me some sticks?"
asked the second little pig.
I want to build a house for myself."
"Yeah,"
said the man, and he gave the second little pig some sticks. Then the second little pig built himself a house of sticks. It was stronger than the house of straw. The second little pig was very pleased with his house. He said,
"Now the wolf won't catch me and eat me."
"I shall build a stronger house than yours,"
said the third little pig. The third little pig walked on along the road all by himself. Soon he met a man who was carrying some bricks.
Please will you give me some bricks?"
asked the third little pig.
I want to build a house for myself."
"Yeah,"
said the man, and he gave the third little pig some bricks. Then the third little pig built himself a house of bricks. It took him a long time to build it, for it was a very strong house. The third little pig was very pleased with his house. He said,
"Now the wolf won't catch me and eat me."
The next day the wolf came along the road. He came to the house of straw which the first little pig had built. When the first little pig saw the wolf coming, he ran inside his house and shut the door. The wolf knocked on the door and said,
little pig, let me come in."
No,"
said the little pig.
"Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I will not let you come in."
"Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in,"
said the wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed. The house of straw fell down, and the wolf ate up the first little pig. Oh dear. The next day the wolf walked further along the road. He came to the house of sticks which the second little pig had built. When the second little pig saw the wolf coming, he ran inside his house and shut the door. The wolf knocked on the door and said,
little pig, let me come in."
No,
said the little pig.
"Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I will not let you come in."
"Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in,"
said the wolf.
No, said the second little pig. "Not by the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I will not let you come in."
"Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in,"
said the wolf. So he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed. The house of sticks fell down, and the wolf ate up the second little pig. Yum, 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 yum. The next day, the wolf walked further along the road. He came to the house of bricks, which the third little pig had built. When the third little pig saw the wolf coming, he ran inside his house and shut the door. The wolf knocked on the door and said,
Little pig, let me come in.
No, no, no,
said the third little pig.
not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I will not let you come in.
Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in,
said the wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed,
and he puffed.
But the house of bricks did not fall down. The wolf was very angry, but he pretended not to be. He thought,
This is a clever little pig. If I want to catch him, I've got to pretend to be his friend.
So the wolf said,
Little pig, if you will be ready at 6 o'clock in the morning, I will take you to Farmer Smith's field. We shall find some nice, lovely turnips for dinner.
Very well,
said the little pig. But the third little pig was a clever little pig. He knew that the wolf just wanted to eat him. So the next morning, the third little pig set off for Farmer Smith's field at 5 o'clock. He filled his basket with turnips. Then he hurried home before it was 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, the wolf knocked on the little pig's door.
Are you ready, little pig?
He said,
I've already been to Farmer Smith's field,
said the little pig.
I filled my basket with turnips, and they're now cooking for me dinner.
The wolf was very angry, but he pretended not to be. Then the wolf said,
If you will be ready at 5 o'clock in the morning, I will take you to Farmer Brown's apple tree, and we'll pick some lovely red apples.
Very well,
said the little pig. Next morning, the little pig set off at 4 o'clock. He found the apple tree. He was up in the tree picking apples when the wolf came along. Oh dear. The little pig was very frightened, but he pretended not to be. He said,
these are lovely fine apples, Mr. Wolf. I'll throw you one.
He threw down an apple, but it rolled away down the road, and the wolf ran after it. Then the third little pig jumped down from the tree, and he ran all the way home and shut his door. The wolf was very angry, but he still pretended not to be. He went to the little pig's house and knocked on the door.
Little pig,
He said,
if you will be ready at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I will take you to the fair. We will have some fun on the swings and the roundabouts.
Very well,
said the little pig. At 2 o'clock, the little pig set off for the fair. He had great fun riding on the swings and roundabouts. Then he bought himself a butter churn. It looked like a big barrel. As little pig was going home, he saw the wolf coming up the hill. The third little pig was very frightened, so he jumped inside his butter churn. The butter churn began to roll over and over down the hill. It rolled faster and faster, and it knocked the wolf down.
Hey, up!
The wolf did not know what had knocked him down. He was so frightened that he ran away as quickly as he could. The third little pig jumped out of his butter churn and carried it home.
hee.
The next day the wolf came and knocked on the little pig's door. He said,
Little pig, I did not go to the fair yesterday. A great big thing came rolling down the hill and knocked me over.
Ha ha,
said the third little pig.
That was me, inside my butter churn.
When the wolf heard this, he was very, very, very angry indeed. He said,
Little pig, I am going to eat you up. I'm going to climb down your chimney to get you.
The little pig was very frightened, but he said nothing. He put a big pot of water on the fire to boil. The wolf climbed up onto the roof, and then he began to come down the chimney. The little pig took off the lid from the pot, and into the pot fell the wolf with a big loud splash.
Splosh!
And that was the end of the wolf. The third little pig was too clever for him.
Oh, I love that,
said Camo.
Ew, ew. We've got to have Little Red Riding Hood. That's my favourite,
said Yorkshire.
Well, who's being who then?
Well, I'll read it. Camo, you be the bad wolf again.
Why do I always have to be the bad guy? Go on then.
Who's going to play Little Red Riding Hood then?
Well volunteered, Three Coats.
Hey, what?
Oh, get on with it.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there was a little girl who was loved by everyone who knew her. Her grandmother was so fond of the child that she delighted in giving her presents. Once she made her a beautiful cape and hood of red velvet. The little girl liked it so much that she never went out without wearing it. In time, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood lived with her mother and father in a small cottage in a village near the edge of a large forest. Her father worked all day in the forest as a woodcutter. Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother lived about a mile away. She lived by herself in a little cottage right inside the wood. Little Red Riding Hood loved her grandmother just as much as her grandmother loved her. Nearly every day she went along the path through the forest to visit her. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her and said, Little Red Riding Hood, I have put a cake and a bottle of wine in this basket. I want you to take them to grandmother. She is ill and they will do her good. Keep to the path and don't wander off into the wood. Little Red Riding Hood's mother warned her. Walk carefully and don't run or you may break the bottle. Then you will have no wine for poor grandmama, went on her mother.
I shall take great care,
promised Little Red Riding Hood as she took the basket and waved goodbye to her mother.
Before she had gone very far along the path through the forest, Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf. She had never seen a wolf before, and she did not know what a wicked creature he was. She thought he was a large dog, and she was not in the least afraid of him.
Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood,
said the wolf.
Good morning, sir,
she replied.
Where are you going so early in the morning?
Asked the wolf.
To my grandmama's,
she replied.
And what have you got in your basket?
Went on the wolf.
A cake and a bottle of wine,
said Little Red Riding Hood.
Grandmama is ill, and me mummy has sent these to help her to get well again.
Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood?
Continued the wolf.
About half a mile into the wood,
answered Little Red Riding Hood.
Her cottage stands under 3 large oak trees. You can't miss it.
What a tender young creature this is,
thought the wolf.
She will make a more juicy mouthful than an old woman. But if I am cunning, I should manage to eat them both.
So the wolf strolled along beside Little Red Riding Hood for a little while, chatting to her and pointing out what was to be seen.
"Look at all the pretty flowers under the trees,"
he said.
"Are they not beautiful? And can you not hear the birds singing? You should stop and enjoy these pleasures instead of walking straight along the path."
Then the wolf said goodbye to Little Red Riding Hood and set off quickly for the grandmother's cottage. Little Red Riding Hood did as the wolf had suggested and looked around her. The forest indeed was a lovely place. The sunbeams danced through the trees, the ground was covered with beautiful flowers, and overhead the birds sang merrily.
I shall pick a bunch of fresh flowers for Grandmama,
thought Little Red Riding Hood.
They will help her get better.
So she wandered further and further from the path, gathering the prettiest of the flowers to take to her grandmother. By now the wolf had reached the grandmother's cottage. He knocked at the door.
Who is there?
called the grandmother.
Little Red Riding Hood,
replied the wolf.
I've bought you a cake and some wine.
Press the latch, open the door and walk in, my dear,
said the grandmother.
I am so weak that I cannot get up.
The wolf pressed the latch, opened the door and walked in. Without saying a word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and gobbled her up in one mouthful. Then he put on one of her nightdresses and a nightcap, which he pulled well down over his eyes. He drew the curtains and got into bed, pulling the bedclothes well up to his chin. Then he waited. Oh dear, poor Little Red Riding Hood. Meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood had wandered far from the path, for the loveliest of flowers always seemed to be the furthest away. When she had gathered so many flowers that her arms were full, she began to think again of her grandmother, lying ill in bed. She returned to the path and went on her way. Oh, we're getting to the exciting bit. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived at her grandmother's cottage, she was surprised to find the door standing wide open. "It's you three, colts."
Good morning, Grandmama,
she called out as she went inside, but she got no reply. Then Little Red Riding Hood began to feel rather uneasy. She went up to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmama, with her cap pulled down to her eyes and the bedclothes pulled up to her chin, looking very strange.
Oh, Grandmama,
she cried.
What big ears you've got!
All the better to hear you with, my dear,
came the reply.
Oh, Grandmama, what big eyes you got!
All the better to see you with, my dear.
Oh, Grandmama, what big hands you got!
All the better to hug you with, my dear.
Oh, Grandmama, what a big mouth you have!
All the better to eat you with.
With these words, the wolf jumped out of bed and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood in one mouthful.
Loop.
Then he climbed into bed, lay down and fell fast asleep. Soon he began to snore. He snored so loudly that the cottage shook. Just at that time, Little Red Riding Hood's father was passing nearby. He heard the awful snores coming from the cottage and thought he had better go in to see why Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother was snoring so loudly. When he went up to the bed, he saw the wolf lying there.
You wicked creature!
he cried in a rage.
I have waited to get my hands on you!
With one blow of his axe, he killed the wolf and pulled him out of the bed. Then he had an idea. Perhaps the wolf had swallowed the grandmother whole, and perhaps he could still save her. Then Little Red Riding Hood's father cut open the wolf, hoping to find the grandmother inside alive. What was his surprise when up popped a Little Red Hood and out jumped Little Red Riding Hood! Hooray!
Oh, how frightened I was!
cried the Little Red Riding Hood.
How dark it was inside the wolf!
Then her father helped the grandmother out. She was still alive, but very weak. Then Little Red Riding Hood and her father put the grandmother into bed. They gave her some of the cake and some wine. She was soon sitting up and feeling much better. Nice glass of red wine. How happy they all were that things had turned out so well after all. Little Red Riding Hood's father took her by the hand and led her thankfully back to her mother. And how happy she was that things had turned out so well.
As long as I live,
said Little Red Riding Hood to her mother. Ah, the end.
Oh, chicken licking. This one's my favourite. Can I do this one?
Okay. Take it away, Three Coats.
Chicken licking. Once upon a time, there was a little chicken called Chicken Licking. And one day, an acorn fell from a tree and hit Chicken Licking on the head. Chicken Licking thought that the sky was falling down, so he ran off to tell the king. On the way, Chicken Licking met Henny Penny.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Henny Penny.
Where are you going in such a hurry?
Oh, Henny Penny, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down, and I'm on my way to tell the king.
Then I'd better go with you,
said Henny Penny. So, Chicken Licking and Henny Penny hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking and Henny Penny met Cocky Locky.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Cocky Locky.
Where are you two going in such a hurry?
Oh, Cocky Locky, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down, and we're on our way to tell the king.
Then I'd better go with you, said Cocky Locky.
So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky met Ducky Lucky.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Ducky Lucky.
Where are you all going in such a hurry?
Oh, Ducky Lucky, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down, and we're on our way to tell the king.
Then I'd better go with you,
said Ducky Lucky. So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Larry hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky met Drakey Lakey.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Drakey Lakey.
Where are you all going in such a hurry?
Oh, Drakey Lakey, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down, and we're on our way to tell the king.
Oh, then I'd better go with you,
said Drakey Lakey. So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey met Goosey Lucy.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Goosey Lucy.
Where are you all going in such a hurry?
Oh, Goosey Lucy, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down and we're on our way to tell the king.
Oh, then I'd better go with you,
said Goosey Lucy. So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy met Turkey Lurkey.
Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Turkey Lurkey.
Where are you all going in such a hurry?
Oh, Turkey Lurkey, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down and we're on our way to tell the king.
Then I'd better go with you,
said Turkey Lurkey. So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy, Turkey Lurkey hurried on to tell the king the sky was falling down. On the way, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy and Turkey Lurkey met Foxy Loxy.
Am I the bad guy again? Oh. Good morning, Chicken Licking,
said Foxy Loxy.
Where are you all going in such a hurry?
Oh, Foxy Loxy, said Chicken Licking. The sky is falling down and we're on our way to tell the king.
Well, I know where to find the king,
said Foxy Loxy.
You'd better all follow me.
So, Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy and Turkey Lurkey followed Foxy Loxy. Foxy Loxy led them straight into his den, where his wife and their little foxes were waiting for their dinners. Oh dear lordy. So, the foxes ate Chicken Licking, Henny Penny, Cocky Locky, Ducky Lucky, Drakey Lakey, Goosey Lucy and Turkey Lurkey for their dinners. So Chicken Licking never found the king to tell him that the sky was falling down. The end. Oh, I love Chicken Licking.
Good night, baby Sky.
Good night, baby Sky, and sleep well.
Yeah, good night, baby Sky. Beddy byes now.
Good night, baby Sky. Sleep well.
Good night, baby Sky. Don't let the bedbugs bite.
Oh, you'll be waking her up again.
Melanie and her boyfriend were just leaving the scout hut, having attended a meeting of the Lonsdale Fell Runners Association to present them with baby Sky. I thought we were never going to get away from that lot. Particularly Camo. I thought we'd never get baby Sky off him. I know. They do love her though. Well, so they should, said Melanie's boyfriend. What a bunch of running geeks they are. I know. I'm going to miss them. And what's all this about a mixtape? That's all a bit 1985, isn't it? What do you reckon's going to be on it? Dex's Midnight Runners? Duran Duran? Soft Cell? A bit of Haircut 100? Let's get it over with. Let's put this thing on and see what's on there.